title says it all, what I want to chat about. I want to chat about how I've been thinking about trying to get into politics. I don't really want to get into politics per se for the sense of, politics are always like a debate and arguing, and it's a heated thing all the time, and people have differing opinions, and I don't want to deal with that. But at the same time, politics are what run the government and everything, and the decision making and yada yada yada, and there's just a lot of stupid things that are severely broken and need to get fixed, and it's never going to happen. It's been busted for how long now? So the way I see it is, if there's going to be a change, then I guess I got to try to be the change. So for the longest time, I had no idea how to even get started. I mean, I was looking at these other people that recently came up, like stupid AOC and whatever that other one is, and all these other people. And I'm like, how did they even get into it? AOC was like a bartender, and then all of a sudden she somehow got into politics, and it was like, what? And that's the problem too, not to jump around, but when you think about it, politics are just anybody that you just somehow get in there and you get elected, and then boom, now you're a person that can make decisions for a state or greater. Like AOC was, like I said, was just a bartender. Like she was just a person, somebody who might not even have had that much respect, so to speak, in the community because she's just a bartender, you know what I mean? And now she's making decisions for some portion of New York and such, and kind of influential in terms of, like, she's, who I'm talking about when I say AOC. You're not like, who the fuck is that? Like, her dumb face and her big teeth smile and stuff. So, but anyway. So, yeah. But I didn't know how to do it. I was like, how do you get started, though? Like, it's kind of like I think about back in the day with, like, the music people. How do you get started? How did musicians get started back in the day? How did they get signed and whatever? Like, now I feel like it's easy. You got SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook. It's simple. Anybody could sort of get famous from music nowadays. I think it would be easy. Like some of these rappers have, SoundCloud rappers like Lil Pump, and who's the other one? There's another one that's a SoundCloud rapper. Soulja Boy is probably the most famous one. What he was doing back in the day on, what was it, Napster or something, when he was making his tracks, but then he'd call them something else. So he'd put the title of something popular, like during those days it was probably like In the Club by 50 Cent stuff. So he'd put that for his song name, so people would download it, and then they'd hear something else and be like, what's this? But it kind of got him out there. I mean, it worked. You know who Soulja Boy is now. But before that, like in the 80s, how? I don't understand. Or how do you get into acting? How do you get into movies? That's something I still don't know, because there's really no way to, even with YouTube, you still can't really break into that type of ground. So I'm like, how do they do it? And that's the same thing with politics. I'm like, how do you do it? Unless you're rich. Like, look, Trump was able to do it, but he's loaded. It was easy. He funded his own campaign, boom, bam, done. But if you're just an average person, how do you get there? So anyway, I started to take things a little bit more seriously, probably late last year. I forget when I really started all this. It was, actually, I think it was a week after elections is when I finally got everything like squared away. I didn't plan that to happen that way. It's just how it happened. So, yeah, I'm trying to start small. I'm trying to get into my town's local politics. It sounds kind of like tedious. I don't really want to get into it, but I got to start somewhere. And they do have a position open, but unfortunately the position they have open is something I'm not interested in at all. It's like what is it, the zoning board of appeals or something? I'm like, what? I don't even know what that is. I don't want to do that. And then of appeals, that sounds like, what does that mean? I got to deal with people that are like frustrated with how something's zoned. Ugh, I don't want to deal with controversy. Well, not controversy, but like, mad people. So I don't really know what it entails, but I'm like, well, I guess I'll do it. It's a start. It's something. I mean, the selectman has seen my, actually, he hasn't seen my resume. I just gave like a verbal resume in the last meeting, so they know what I'm all about, and the selectman says that position really isn't a good fit for me, as I can be much better utilized elsewhere. So, as I said, it's just a start for now. I'm sure they'll find something else to put me in that, 1, I'll like better, and 2, I'll be more successful at, and 3, I'll just be a better fit for in general. But anyways, my end goal really is just to make it to the House. I think the House would be a better choice out of the two. Obviously, Senate has more power, But I feel like the Senate is more, how do I phrase it? What's going on? Am I supposed to? Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm always, like I say, I always make these while I'm driving, and there's a construction going on at a light right now, and there's one guy on one side of the road telling them to stop, but the other guy's just kind of dicking around, so I don't know if I'm supposed to stop. But he just waved at me to keep going, so whatever. Anyway, this will be edited, but there was some spit on my phone, so I go to clean it, and the stupid thing has to go and be a dickhead, and so now that's why this transition out of nowhere, I'm frustrated sounding, because I just dealt with my phone being a dick. It just changed the picture from this backdrop that I always use to something else, and then I try to put it back, and it's like, oh, you want to just do this? Yeah, I can easily be a dickhead and mess up, but when you go to fix me, that's too hard for me to figure out. Anyways, it's back what I was saying with the house and stuff. I just feel like there's more chances. The house has more seats per state. Granted, my state's small. I think there's only 6 seats. But you know what? That's still better than the Senate, which is only 2 per every single state. So yeah, anyway, the Senate has more power, but I feel like the power is different. The power levels in the Senate and the House are different types of power, and like, I just don't... I want to be able to do something... I want to be able to have a position where I can make a difference for people, for everybody. And I feel like being in the House is probably more the route that I could do that, where I can make an actual impactful difference for everyone. And I can set up things where maybe I go out and, you know, people can talk to me. What do they not like? Okay, what can I do about it? Where the Senate is more, it's almost like you're just the governor's boss. Not really, but you know what I mean? It's just, it's a higher up level. You're not really as in touch with the people. So, but that's really as far as I want to get. I don't really need anything more. I mean, you know, it's not like I'm aspiring to be the president or whatever. I mean, hey, if it happened, that's pretty cool. Come from a small town and somehow end up being the president, but it's not really a goal. Never was. I mean, then again, this crap never was either, so who knows? But anyway, yeah, so basically what I'm going to do is just talk about the things that I don't like, and talk about, I'm not going to give full details on what my plan would be to change them, but these are things that I've thought about a lot, and I do have some game plans in mind for how I would approach them. But yeah, so just to keep some stuff kind of proprietary, if you will, I'm not going to get too deep into my solutions, but, you know, kind of allude to them. Also, as per usual, these casts are while I'm driving, so anything that I say isn't in any particular order. It's more just as I think of them. So, like, you know, the first thing I say doesn't mean that it's priority number 1. It's just I thought of it first. Where the last thing I say doesn't mean it's necessarily the last. It could actually be the highest priority, but I just blanked for a minute. So anyhow, getting into it, this one probably is number 1, because this is the whole reason why I wanted to get into politics, is just because of this problem. But it's paternal rights needs to change, at least in my state. I mean, I would imagine every state sucks, but I know Connecticut, where I live, it sucks. It's, as they call it, it's a mother state, and it makes things very difficult for dads, and that's dumb. Like, the way I see it is, it feels like Connecticut, it feels like at some point in the past, there was like a woman who was in Congress, and you know, her and her husband must have been getting a divorce, and so she was like, I got an idea, and then she made these ridiculous regulations with the kids, and somehow it passed through, and then she was like, haha, F you, like just some super conniving B-word of an ex-wife, and this is what she ended up doing, and now it's just stuck, and now everybody's got to deal with this. That's how it feels. Like, for one, actually, let me start this preface a little differently, not just start getting into it. So, like, basically, there's a lot of things that I don't like, and I don't think are done correctly. So, like, for one is child support. I think child support is ridiculous. There's definitely tons of factors that need to be not accounted for. Well, yeah, I guess accounted for, but they just aren't. Like when I went, when I was in court and child support was being set up, basically what they do is they look at your gross pay, and in my case, they looked at my daughter's mother's gross pay as well. And then they have like a sheet that says, hold on. I think they combined them. And then based on the combined, they have a sheet that correlates to how much I'm supposed to pay. And that's how it's done. It's super basic, not involved, and it's dumb. Now, again, it's almost like someone not very intelligent came up with that plan. Oh, this is easy enough. Here you go. And I feel like, well, with my bachelor's in math, there's definitely a smarter way to go about doing this. And I would utilize that. I haven't sat down and really formulated anything yet. I have ideas, but I haven't put it to paper yet and really worked out something, like a proper formula. But, if I got elected, this would be my whole thing, what my campaign was for. So I would put it to better use and come up with something way smarter than the current system. The worst part is, as I said, the child support is based on your combined income. So it was funny because my daughter's mother is very whatever the word is I'm looking for, that V word, vindictive, maybe that's it, and just very, she's miserable. Most people that know her don't like her. And anyways, during those days when my daughter was a baby, it was just me and her. She didn't have anybody else, so she was just constantly being a pain in the butt towards me. It wasn't until my daughter was about 2, that's when she hooked up with the guy she's with now, and then things started to get off my back. She had him as a distraction to worry about, instead of worrying about me nonstop and being a jerk to me. But, yeah, so anyways, one time, I don't know what the petty argument was about, but she was like, I'll just quit my job, and then you can pay me even more child support. Which, one, that's just stupid. Why would you want to make my life harder? All it does is make it so that then things are worse for Morgan when she's with me. Like, hello, grow a brain. Are you thinking about your child, or are you just being a dickhead just because it's easy for you to do? Like, she's got time with me. Why would you... Basically, if my child support went up and I couldn't afford it, either that means A, I have to work more, which might cut into Morgan's time, or B, I don't have as much money to provide for her as properly. Like, that's just stupid. Why would you even say something dumb like that? But anyways, the thing that was funny, though, was because when she said that, I was like, actually, you're dead wrong, because now our combined income would drop drastically, and I would be paying you way less child support. So yes, please, quit your job. It'll help me. I mean, at that time, we basically were making the same amount of money. So we both had 2 jobs, and my main job was paying me $14 an hour, and my second job was, I think it was like $9.10 an hour. So that's what I had going for me, and she had a second job that was also paying her $9.10 an hour. I don't think that was minimum. That was like $1 more than minimum. So we both were making like $1 more than minimum at our second job, and then her main job was $12 an hour. So I mean, we were pretty close to making exactly the same amount of money. I mean, I might have been making a smidge more because, well, one, there's the $2 difference in the day job, but 2, I think my second job I was working more hours. I was doing like 30 hours a week. I think her second job was only 20 or 15, somewhere in that range. So I mean, all in all, I was making a smidge more, but nothing that significant. It's not like the difference between, $1,000 a week, me, and she was pulling $250. It was like maybe combined I was pulling $500 and she was pulling $450. Like, whoop-dee. Net, I mean, like take home net. So anyways, yeah, so if she quit her job, it was like, for me, it would be like, okay, because child support possibly would have been cut in half. I mean, we were making, like I said, just about the same amount. So if I lost that much, then wouldn't my child support go down in half? So I was like, all right. Which then she must have looked it up and realized, oh, I'm an idiot, because then she didn't say anything else about it, because she's someone who loves to argue. And she didn't argue with that afterwards. And it was like, yeah, mother effer, go ahead, quit your job, help me out. But anyways, back to the regulation in general. So one, I don't think that's very fair. Why would you set up child support to be a combination of both parents and then still set a child support? I mean, I don't know. The way I see it is we're basically making the same amount of money. So... they always say it's to, 1, make up the difference, and 2, make better opportunity for the child. Well, you're not creating a better opportunity or making things equal. One, they already were equal. And two, how are you making a better opportunity? Now, her mother has much more money than me, and so when she's with me, I have much less. How is that equal? It's not. But on the other hand, I can understand, fine, babies are expensive. Diapers, formula, wipes, they're growing quickly, so it's clothes. They vomit a lot, so that could also be clothes. So yeah, they're expensive. So fine, maybe if we were making the same amount of money on paper, it might cost her way more for a baby if the baby's with her more often. So fine, I can understand the stupid child support in the beginning to help her. But I just don't think their way of going about setting it up is right. It shouldn't be a reflection of our combined income. What if she was making way more money than me? Say she was making 50% more than me. So like just for easy numbers, say my money was $500 a week net and she was pulling $750 net. Well, that's not fair because combined, that would mean my child support is higher than it is now, probably even. And she's already got a leg up on me, so why would I have to pay her more money to have that much more of a leg up? You know what I mean? That's weird. Like, then what happens in situations where it's way off? Like, what if it's a situation where two people are together, maybe not married, but they're just dating, and the woman's doing really well. She's pulling, $2,500 a week, and the guy's got an average job pulling $600 a week. So what's that mean? He's got to pay an insane amount of child support that he literally can't afford because they combined it, and this is what the rate will be, $300 a week. Even though she's blowing him out of the water financially, like, that doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it changes when it gets to a weird disparity like that. Maybe she would have to pay him. I don't know. I just know in my situation how it went, though. Another thing I didn't like about it is they tacked on 5 hours from my second job. They only did, so I don't want to say they only, but they only look at 45 hours of work. So no, is it 45 hours of work? Actually, I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember, actually. It's been 8 years. Is it 45 hours of work total? Or is it everything from your main job, and then if you work a second job, 5 hours into that? I don't know. All I know is it ended up being 5 hours. So 40 hours at my main job, and then 5 hours out of my second job. But the way I saw it is, well, what do you got to worry about that for? That's not fair. Don't look at extra that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Now you're tying me down, so I have to work that extra. That extra that I was working at that time was just to make extra and try to get ahead. I mean, that's when I had my Cadillac, and I was basically working a second job just to pay for the Cadillac. Like, don't look at my second income as, you know what I mean? That's not right. Like, I put in the extra work for myself. You know what I mean? I don't know, it just seems wrong. And then when child support was set up, again, that was based on both of our 45 hours. So now I'm basically getting charged still to this day for 10 hours of second job work that both of us were doing. Well, that's not right. She doesn't even work 2 jobs anymore. She hasn't worked 2 jobs in quite some time. Maybe since she ended up hooking up with this guy she's with now. So why am I still paying for 10 hours, so 50 hours, well, what would it be? 100 hours of work time between 2 people. That's not right. Yeah, I still work a second job, but that's because I have to, because my child support's ridiculous. I mean, the amount of money that I make from my second job doesn't even cover child support, so I'm still negative a little bit, but it helps offset it. And see, that's something that's kind of not fair either, because, they talk about equal opportunity for the child. Okay, that's true, but now look at my life. I have to work all the time. Work. And if it wasn't for COVID, I would have even more jobs, but COVID kind of screwed up a couple of them for now. They're still on the table. I just gotta wait for this crap to go away. But still, I wouldn't have to worry about it if I didn't have all this child support. I have to do this though to offset it, make it back. I mean, the worst was when I was working 30 hours at a second job, and I was basically just about breaking even. I think I pulled like $40 extra in a month. So I broke even plus 40, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's ridiculous. I already made this money at my main job, and now I gotta work 30 extra hours just to get it back? So that's something that needs to change. Also, with child support that I think needs to change is again, like I said, I know babies are expensive because formula, diapers, even if you breastfeed, it's still expensive. Diapers, wipes, clothes, toys, and then they're growing quickly, so the toys change, the clothes change, the amount of, well, if it's breast milk, I guess that doesn't matter, but if you're on formula, the amount of formula is going to change, and, you know, so I get it, but as they get older, they get cheaper. I mean, the point that my daughter's at now, she's 8.5. Like, she's really not that expensive anymore. She's not growing that fast anymore. She's growing at a normal speed now that every 8-year-old does. So her clothes are lasting a couple seasons. Well, not a couple seasons, a couple years, you know what I mean? Like her jacket that I bought her for this winter, it'll still work next winter, and it might still possibly work the winter after that. So clothes are slowing down. Food is slowing down because she's kind of ridiculously picky and pretty cheap because of it. I mean, think about it. If I have her and we go out and get a pizza, we get a small pizza, okay? Well, that's possibly what I would get for myself anyways. And now she takes a slice of it. Okay, whatever. It basically costed me nothing to feed her because I would have got that for myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to eat 2, and she's just taking a slice of it. All right, well, there'd still be probably 2 slices left at the end anyway, so now there's just 1 that I'm taking home. Whatever. I mean, I used to be able to pack down a whole pizza, no problem. A large one, no problem. But, I don't know, I've been super self-conscious recently about being all bulky, so it's almost like I can't eat a lot just because I know it's not good, so I choose not to. It's like, I look at it, and I'm like, I could easily put this away, but I'm like, but then I'll feel super guilty about it later, so that's why I said there'd maybe be 2 slices left. Because the guilt trip in my head would be like, F you, you fat mother effer. You need to start working on doing your planks, not packing down whole pizzas. Anyways. But yeah, so that's something else I think needs to change. Like, it's ridiculous. I shouldn't be still paying the same amount of money now that I paid for when she was a baby. She's not using that much money. I don't know if I've ever talked about this before in another one. I think I have, but it's just a perfect reference point here, so I'll talk about it again. I even did an experiment once. So at my last job, I made a little bit more money. I was a little bit more financially comfortable. And what I did one month, I think it was in June, I did an experiment where I tried to spend all the money that I give for child support on my daughter. Like, obviously I wasn't cutting into the stupid child support. It's wage garnish, which is annoying. Like, they can't trust me. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't take that money like, oh, I don't have it, I wasted it. I mean, I took the money of my own that's still remaining and spent it just to see what it would take to spend just about $540 in a month. And I couldn't do it. I came up to, like, I forget what it was offhand. It was high 3s or low 4s. I still have the receipts. I mean, I could make a video just on that, just showing the receipts. But yeah, and I was like, man, this is with me trying to blow money. I mean, every visit I took her to get, like, a new toy. We went out to the movies. I let her get food and stuff there. You know, cinemas are expensive for snacks and everything, and I let her do it just because I knew it would rack up the bill. We went out to eat every day, a lot of sit-down restaurants. That's a little tiny bit more expensive than fast food, especially during those days. Now fast food's expensive as F as well, but B, there's also tips, so that's even more money that you're dishing out. And yeah, I tried to blow that much money just to see what it would really take, and I couldn't even do it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The court calls this support? So they're saying that her mom should be providing that much too, and maybe some on top of that. And mind you, I need to be providing for her as well. So it's like, how much money do I think it costs for one kid? This much money is support? So what, am I supposed to be paying that much in a month on her as well? Or no, it'd have to be even more than that, right? Because that's supposed to be support. So whatever they think in total her mom's supposed to be doing, what's that mean? I'm supposed to be doing it too? It's psychotic. She does not what are you looking at? $1,000 each? She doesn't cost $2,000 a month. Gee, she doesn't even cost $500 a month. Like I said, I tried and it didn't even happen. Like, so that's one thing that I think should happen with child support as well, is it should be on like a sliding scale. That as the child gets older, the amount of money you pay goes down. And then once the kid's like 16, it's done then. Not done at 18 because, they're an adult. It's done at 16. Why? Because, at that point, the kid, come on, you can drive. You're telling me that you can have a car, but you can't have a job? You're telling me you can have a car, but your mom is still getting child support from your dad? That's stupid. And at this point, anyways, the kid is, I don't want to say free, but the needs of the child's almost self-sustained at that point. I mean, I had a job when I was 14, so by the time I was 16, I was working for 2 years. You start hanging out with your friends more often. It's different. You don't really need to, so it should just end at 16. If the mom can't afford to take care of a 16-year-old, well, that's a problem on her end. She needs to get a job. And at that point, too, that's when the kid's old enough to be like, Mom, you suck. You don't have any money. You have no food. I'm not living here. I'm living with Dad. F you. You know what I mean? Like, what's that mean, too, under current situations? So you're saying that a kid could make that decision to be like, I don't want to live with you. I want to live with my dad. But what, the dad would still have to pay child support? Yeah, I know. She never sees you, but here's some money. That's retarded. So I think 16 should be the cutoff, not 18, just because, that's when they're an adult. No, F you. I'd say even younger is when there should be cut off, but I'll give it till 16. It's at least a little fairer. I mean, think about it, too. If the mother had a job, she should have been at the job for at least 16 years at this point, so she should be making halfway decent enough money between raises and possible promotions. Like, do you really need the child support for the extra 2 years? And that's like the other thing, too. Like, sometimes women are just disgusting, and they end up having tons of kids with different men, so then they basically just live off of child support and the state. And it's like I knew someone who was like that for the longest time. She ended up getting married, and I was like, man, why would this guy want to marry her? That's gross. She's got like 7 kids with 6 different guys already to begin with, and she's a total scumbag. And really, the weird thing is the guy didn't really seem like he was that type of level. Like, he had like his own like construction business or something, and it was just made it even weirder. Like, why would you settle on her? I'm sure you can do way better. I don't know. But anyway, that's the other thing I think about too for stupid child support. If a mother is single, fine, that's one thing. But if she's with somebody, and like with, not like kind of we're dating, but we don't live together or something, but like really with, like even married, then it's like, okay, well, your child support should go down just from that. I'm not saying that the other guys should be pitching in for your kid. That's your kid. F him. But I do feel like her income has greatly increased. Whatever he's making now is their money, which means she has access to it as well. So, and if he marries the girl, and she has a kid already, he knows this. It's no surprise. Like, oh, geez, I had no idea you had a child already. He knows, and he's still decided, yeah, I'll marry you. So he's taking on that responsibility. He knows he's going to officially become a stepdad, which means some financial obligation is going to come to that. You're not going to marry somebody and have and they have kids, and you're just going to keep it separate. Nope, those are not my kids. I married you. I don't care if these kids exist. That's your problem. Like, you kind of, if you marry somebody who has kids, you're kind of accepting them as well. Like, oh, I guess I'm taking on this burden as well. Unless, of course, you marry somebody later in life and their kids are adults. Well, then it's different. You're like, F you. I wasn't there for you to grow up, mother effer. But my point is I feel like that should play an influence on child support as well. Like, come on. The guy's income stays the same, especially if he's still single. So her income possibly doubled, let's say. And yet you still got to pay child support? So now that's benefiting... I don't want to jump off the subjects here, but that's weird. I never noticed this before. I just passed a post office, and there's another post office literally like half a mile away from it. Like, I don't know if the town's changed, and that's why there's 2 post offices right near each other, but that's weird. Why would you have 2 post offices right on top of each other? That's like having 2 McDonald's. Well, that's what happens in New York, I guess. They have Starbucks on every single corner, but it's weird. Anyways, though, but yeah, so her money now doubled, and now this doofus is living off of your child support as well, which means if they have another child, kind of like the situation I'm in, what's happening? My child support's going to that kid too? Oh, good, we need some extra money. Good thing today's child support payment day. Like, so that's something that needs to be accounted for as well. Like, they want to talk about, like, it's just frustrating because, I think about when I was in court and they talked about, equal opportunity for the child. Child support is to make an equal opportunity for the child. And it's like, yeah, equal opportunity. Here's a solid middle finger to that. Here's my situation. I live in a dumpy, gross, stupid apartment that I hate, but I can't get out of because I'm stuck there because I don't make enough money to even think about leaving. I also drive a stupid car that I don't care about, that I basically was forced into getting because it was either this or nothing. And yeah, that's my situation. But let's look at her mom's situation. Let's see. She's with another guy, so now they have double money. They're able to get a house. They have 3 cars and 2 motorcycles at least. I don't know. What else do they got going on? But it's an equal opportunity, right? Because I also have a house, and I have 5 vehicles total, too. Very equal. No, my daughter has a tiny closet of a bedroom at my place. Her place with her mom, she's got a playroom in the basement in addition to her bedroom. But it's an equal opportunity, right? At her mom's house, there's a yard to play in. At my place, there is technically a yard, but it's microscopic, and the guy on the second floor basically took it over with all his crap. So there really is no yard. But, equal opportunity, right? So yeah, that's number one thing that I want to change. Now, in conjunction with that, what I'd want to change is alimony. I've never been married, so I don't really know how alimony works. I don't know anybody who has to pay alimony either, but I have heard stories with, people that have money, and there's women who are living off of their ex-husband's alimony 20 years later, and it's like, what? You got a divorce. That was a choice to get married in the first place, and it's a choice to leave you. Why is he still providing for your lifestyle? I get it at first, maybe. Maybe the first year or 2 or something like that. Alimony's a thing because, the woman had a lifestyle with you, especially if you're rich. She probably wasn't working, and she had that lifestyle. So, okay, fine, whatever. Hook her up so she's not, homeless after the divorce is finalized. But after that, she shouldn't keep living on you. She needs to figure things out herself. So maybe take some of that money and save it away, put it into the stock market or something, or just save it and change your lifestyle. At the end of the day, you might have had that grandiose lifestyle while you were married, but you didn't achieve it. You just married into it. So you're going to have to make yourself a new life then, one that actually fits what you have worked for. So if you're getting a ridiculous amount of alimony per month, say $20,000 a month or something, well, get saving, get figuring out how to live a regular life. That way then you can buy an average house and stuff and still live off the 2 years of alimony that you get. I mean, $20,000 a month, that's what, $240,000 a year? $480,000 after those 2 years. That's plenty enough to get you started, and then find yourself a job. I mean, I'm sure if you were hooked up with somebody anyways who had some kind of rank in the world, you'd be able to piggyback off of that. You could probably even become a public speaker. My former husband was blah blah blah. This is what I've learned since being with him. You know what I mean? Think about it, Elon Musk. My former husband, Elon Musk. I'm not saying he's in this situation. I'm just using him. He's a big name. You probably could piggyback and make your own career off of talking about your time with him. Or, my former husband, Barack Obama. You know what I mean? And even if it was a quiet person that was rich, not somebody famous, but somebody just kind of no name, but you worked your way up and got loaded. I'm sure you could still figure out a way to talk about your experiences. People are dumb. They want to listen to stuff. It's entertainment. So I'm sure you'd be able to figure out a way. But yeah, so that's something else I want to look into. I don't really, like I said, I don't have any experience. So I don't really know how the alimony laws are and stuff, if they really do suck or not. But I imagine they do, and probably they do need to be changed. Chances also are that the divorce happened because the wife sucked anyways. It's usually how it goes. So why should he have to pay forever because she decided to just be crappy over time? I'm sure things in the beginning were super awesome, and then as they got married, it staled out, and he was like, well, I'm bored of you. I know I could find something fun and crisp again since you don't want to be. Anyway, so that would be my first thing that I would want to change is those type of financial situations. well, not just financial. I really only talked about the financial side, but it's also, like I said, paternal rights. So I would want to change things in general as a whole for the paternal rights. Like, yeah, dads usually get a bad rap. And yeah, it's because some of them are sucky and walk out on their kid or sign their rights away right away and whatever. Like, I know somebody at my second job recently had a kid, and I guess the dad already made it clear he wasn't going to be in the picture and he's going to sign his rights away and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, fine. But if the dad's going to try to be, like, don't give him a hard time. Like, well, you could end up sucking. Look, he's already starting. Give him the benefit of the doubt. If he does screw up, fine. Then take care of it. But in the beginning, give him a chance. You know, it's like they always say, just because there's a few that are bad doesn't mean all are. Just, it's like pit bulls, you know? Some of them end up being a little bit aggressive because of an idiot owner. That's all it is, the owner. And now pit bulls get a bad rap in general. Oh, they're aggressive, they're violent. No, they're not. They only are if you make them be. So, same thing with guys. Yeah, not all dads suck. Yeah, some of them are, but... So, anyway. Yeah, there's just other things. Like, I know one thing, too, is that it's always like, oh, they're quick to take money from a guy to give it to a girl. Like, when we were in court, you know, I had to go through a lot to get where I was at. You know, my daughter's mother basically said she knew I wasn't the dad, and then so I set up the paternity test and I had to get the lawyer, then get the paternity test, and then get court set up once the paternity results came back positive, and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah. And what was the very first thing they wanted us to talk about when we got in the room? Okay, so let's talk about child support. It was like, are you kidding me? Everything I just went through, and the first thing you want to talk about is hooking her up with money? Like, it felt like I was being punished for trying to be in my kid's life. It was like, what? How does this even make any sense? This is the very first thing you want to talk about? Like, that just sounds severely broken right off the bat. Everything I went through, and that's the first thing, literally the second we sat down. All right, so we're going to have to set up child support. So, did you guys bring your financial statements? Like, what? What? Oh, but in reverse, no. When it's a guy that has basically full custody of his kid, the mom doesn't have to pay anything. How does that even make any sense? Oh, so guys can pay. And then that's ironic, too, if you really want to get into it. Because, you know, everything nowadays is supposed to be all about equality, right? Men and women equality and trans equality and all this bull crap. But, when it comes to finances, guys can afford to pay the women, but the women don't have to pay the guys, right? Oh, okay. That's equal. Why doesn't any of the feminists want to complain about that? Hey, I want to pay child support too! Like they always say, all they complain about are the good things. They never want to complain about the bad things. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I don't have to pay child support. Yeah, that's fine. I won't pursue it. Don't worry. I don't mind. No, I just want the good things. I want to be able to walk around in public in summer with no shirt on. Oh, I want to be able to... And this is a weird tangent I'm going on, but... you know. So anyways, that would be topic number 1 that I want to work on. Number 2 would be with... Let me think. I know I have like 6 things, so I just gotta remember them. Oh, yeah, changing unemployment for sure. That would be something that has to be worked on. So recently, as I've talked about in past casts, if you've been listening, I lost the job that I had in 2018. Well, I applied for unemployment and applied for it, and I never got it. I got it once. I had one payment in the course of 9 months, and that was it. And once the payment came, I thought, oh, finally, I'll be getting my money. Nope. It was that one time, and that was it. And I don't know why. I don't know why it came that one time and never any other time. I did everything I had to do. I filed every single week. I was actively applying for jobs. I was recording what I was applying to, what the position was, where the place was, a phone number, the time and the date that I completed the application. Everything. Nope. Got nothing. But then you got tons of people who are somehow able to milk the system and just collect unemployment, and they're not even actively job searching at all. But somehow they're able to get away with it. And it's like, how does this work? How does this even make sense? I'm actually trying to get a job, and I just need something in the meantime to sustain me. But nope. But these people who aren't even trying, and they're just sitting there, oh, I'm just going to file unemployment. Oh, that's okay for them. It's kind of like these idiots now with the COVID stuff. Oh, give people $400 extra, $600 extra, and all this crap. For what? You're just encouraging people to be losers and not even try to find a job. How does that even make sense? You know what I mean? Like, that COVID crap was supposed to be for the people who are actually affected, people who had a job and lost it because COVID, or lost it for the time being, like their company closed or something, and they're like, well, when COVID passes, well, we might reopen. So these people are holding on like, well, geez, I don't want to lose my executive job and do something else, so they're just on unemployment for now. But no, so many losers are taking advantage of this. You know, they have an opportunity to go back to their job. They never even lost their job to COVID. They chose to take themselves out and then chose to never try to go back to work. And now they're sitting around on all this extra money that they would have never made in the first place at their job. So, you know, what's the incentive for them to work? Hey, I'm making way more money doing nothing. Why would I go to work? So, you know, that's something that needs to change too, is unemployment and how that works out. I think it needs to be easy to get, like you apply and they just hook you up. Don't give you a hard time, but then do not an investigation, but, you know, just have like an account manager or whatever. Somebody who's there to check into it. I mean, it might sound cumbersome, but think about it. You got the DMV, they do all the stuff for everybody, so you can make things work on a large scale like that. And then they look into it, and then if they find out that you're frauding, well, then they cut you off. Oh, you're not actively job searching. We're not giving you unemployment anymore. Oh, you didn't actually lose your job. You quit, but you want to say, you know, no, we're not hooking you up anymore. You know what I mean? Like, actually look into things. Make it better. So that then if you do need it, you get it. You don't have to struggle like me. But then if you're scamming and you're not doing your part, then it gets cut off. It's only fair. Now, on the wings of talking about money, a third idea I was thinking is, this one might be difficult to do, especially with the public. They're not going to like this. But dropping the minimum wage. I know that sounds backwards, but it could start a trickle effect, which would meaning like maybe other states would see the benefit and adopt this as well. So with the minimum wage being higher, all it does is cause inflation. I talked about this with the crap to propose a $15 minimum wage, which luckily did not happen. The COVID bill passed with the $15 minimum wage taken out from it. But I think in general, minimum wage having a higher minimum wage is just causing inflation. And chances are also it's causing less job opportunities for others. You know, maybe a company like a mom and pop company that would have 2 employees now only has 1 because they can't afford to pay 2 because child support because minimum wage is too high. But if it was say it was $8 an hour instead of 12, that's 50% less, or it's 33% less, but 8 to 12 is 50% more. But so, you know, those numbers, whatever way you want to look at it, you know, that might be the difference where then a company could have 2 employees. Now, that makes it so the owner's life is easier. They have 2 employees instead of just the 1. And it makes those people's lives better. Yeah, maybe the one person that they had with the pay cut is making less and they're disgruntled by it. But you know what? Now there's the second person working there as well. And now they have a job and they are making money. So, you know, it benefits everybody and it helps reduce inflation. And think about it too. Everything in the state possibly would get cheaper because the state as a whole isn't offering as much inflation or what have you. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe you go to a different state and things are a little bit more expensive, but maybe within our state it's less. And I don't know. Maybe I'm way off, but I'm just thinking it could pay off if things were cheaper because minimum wage is less and blah blah blah. Cost of living's a little lower in the state. So then I'm thinking it might attract outside state people to come in. Like, again, I'm in Connecticut, so Rhode Island's not that far away. Massachusetts isn't far away, and depending on which side of the state you live on, New York's not far away. And it might drag in those people to come shop in Connecticut because they know it's cheaper, which then what's that do? That boosts Connecticut's economy drastically. So much stuff's being purchased because, you know what I mean? So in the long run, I see it could be very beneficial. Yeah, people working minimum wage, if they're making $12 an hour now, they're not going to want to go down to 8 or whatever I work out, even well, not I work out, if I were to work it out, but maybe not 8 so much, but say 10 even, yeah, they might not like that. Like, what the F? But you know what? At the same time, it's like you do work minimum wage. You make dick money for a reason because you have a dick job. That's the other thing. Like, people need to stop thinking they can get a job at McDonald's and be able to live comfortably. Like, no, McDonald's is a crap job for a reason. You want to live more comfortably, then you need to go somewhere. You need to do something with your life that warrants that. Not just, I stand there in the drive-thru window and hand people food. I should be making a very comfortable living wage. No, you shouldn't. There's a reason you get paid crap. Now, at the same time, I'm not saying these people don't deserve raises. Yeah, over time, they should be able to get raises and get promotions and what have you, and get to the point where maybe they are making $15 an hour, but they earned it. They're not just going to get a job and be like, oh yeah, I expect to be living super comfortably and easily. No. Not how it goes. I mean, I've done everything that I thought was the right choice, and I'm still struggling. So, losers that haven't put any effort into their lives at all shouldn't be able to just start living easily. That's not right. And that just negates everything I've ever done in my life. You know what I mean? What's the point? Now you're making it so everything I've done doesn't matter. I mean, I feel like it doesn't matter to begin with, but then that just makes it worse. Like, to put things into context, if the minimum wage did go to $15 an hour, it really would negate everything that I have going for me at my day job, my main job. It really would. Because at the end of the day, I'd only be making, it's not that much more, but in relation to what minimum wage is, I'd barely be making more than minimum wage, relatively speaking. And that's just not right. Like I said, when minimum wage is $8 an hour, I'd be making more than 3 times minimum wage at this point. Now, if minimum wage was $15, I'm making, it's not even double. And it's just, minimum wage I think in my state it's $12 an hour, so at least I'm pulling a little over double, but it's still not great. It's like, I have 10 years experience in engineering and I make only double minimum wage. Yeah, maybe if minimum wage was $50 an hour, well, $100 an hour is pretty decent. But then again, if minimum was $50 an hour, everyone's living large as it is, so 100 probably wouldn't be anything either. But still, it's not, So anyways, yeah, so that's something else I want to do. Like I said, that might be hard to do. Might be really hard to get initiated and passed and stuff, but it's still something I could try. Oh, man. I said, oh man, because like I said, I'm always driving and there's some road work up here and I got to switch lanes. After I switched to the other lane to try to be smart and pre-plan this. So much for that. Can I even go? There's somebody directing traffic, but he's not doing a very good job. He looks like he's just standing here like, I hate my job. Where do I want to go? Technically, even though I'm coming back from the place that I get stuff at, technically it is my lunch break now, so I don't really want to go straight back to the company. I'm having some heartburn, so I want to get like some chocolate milk or something, so I'm trying to think where I can go to get it. There's a grocery store nearby, so I guess I'll just hit that up. Although grocery stores do usually have crappy prices. You ever notice that? I don't want to go on a weird tangent here, but I never go to grocery stores for anything unless I know they have something that I can't find anywhere else. Like, just go to Walmart. I know Walmart's not really a grocery store, but all their food and stuff is always way less. Every time I go to a grocery store, I'm like, God, it's so expensive. Why does anybody come here? Like, on paper, all grocery stores should just be out of business because their prices suck. Anywhere else that had horrendous prices, no one would go to it. Look at Kmart. They're out of business. Why? Their prices suck. There's even a small mom and pop shop that used to be in my area called BPOT, stood for Bottomless Pit of Treasure. From what I understand, they're going out of business too. Why? Because their prices used to be good, but now they suck. So of course no one goes there anymore. Why would you? What, even GameStop. If GameStop goes out of business soon, it's unfortunate. It was one of my favorite stores, but it makes sense. I mean, they offer nothing. They're shifting to more like the stupid pops and other dumb collectibles, and their prices suck. I mean, go to GameStop, new game, $50. Every single time, $50. Go to Walmart, same exact game, brand new, $33.88. And the difference between Walmart and GameStop is GameStop will give you a new game, let's put air quotes on that, a new game with the cellophane wrap ripped off, and then they put a game in the package. Yeah, this is new. Where at least when you go to Walmart, it's new. You open the thing. You're the only one that touched the disc or cartridge, depending on if you have a Switch or a regular console. And you're the only one that touched the packaging. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between the news. Like, I feel like that's used when I'm going to GameStop. That's not new. So number 4 would be trying to make a change to like welfare and stuff like that. Welfare is too easily given out to people who it shouldn't be easily given out to. Like, for example, this might boo-hoo, but you know what? It's true. People who, let's say, don't know English can come here and go to wherever the welfare center is or whatever you do. I don't even know how to get it because I've never tried. I'm not that type of person. I figure if I need more money, then I got to get another job. But still, like, people come here, don't know English, and then, you know, have tons of kids. No, but none of the fathers are with the mothers. Boom! Now all of a sudden they're getting hooked up. Oh yeah, sure. You go. Here's some money. Welcome to the country. But yet, citizens who've actually been here and put into the system that allows them to have that money to give out, no, they get nothing. Like, it's just like this guy I know. He recently applied for and was approved for food stamps, and it's just frustrating because it's like, okay, first off, he works a fake job, if you will. I don't even know how to explain it. He works under the table. He works just with his buddies. They call him if they think they're gonna need help, and then he goes on a road trip with them. And like I said, it's under the table, and it's very inconsistent hours. One week he's working a whole week, the next week it's a couple of days. And then the week after that, maybe he's scrounging to try to find any odds and ends mini job and, you know, just to get $20 for the day or something. So for starters, it's like, why don't you get a real job instead of doing that crap? That would help. Duh. Second, he's a raging alcoholic. So that's the other thing. How about instead of wasting all the money you do have on alcohol, you come up with better priorities? Now I get it. People say, alcoholism's a disease. He has a sickness. Blah, blah, blah. Alcoholism is not a disease, okay? A disease is something you can't control. A disease is either, you know, let's say, even though it's very wussy and I don't buy into all the hype, but let's say COVID, you know, that's a disease. That's something that's just out there. Or when bubonic plague was going around, that's a disease. Or, you know, AIDS, that's a disease. Or cancer, or you know, something like that. Maybe even like cystic fibrosis, things like that. Those are diseases, things that you can't really control. They're just out there. I mean, I guess AIDS you could control because chances are you made some kind of decision that, I mean, chances. I'm not saying everybody, but, you know, it started out in the gay community and the drug community, so. But still, you made choices that led up to that situation. I mean, no, what am I saying? I'm still going on the wrong tangent. I mean, yeah, so those are things you can't really control, though. Being an alcoholic is a choice. Nobody told you you had to start drinking. And nobody told you or made you or whatever so that I had to get to the point where it was that bad that now you're like hooked and, oh, I need alcohol. I gotta go to the package store and buy tons of alcohol. Oh, I can't live without it. Nobody made you do that. Same as smoking. All these chain smokers out there, nobody made you just take up smoking. Which, speaking of smoking, I don't even know why people start smoking nowadays. It's so stupid. You have all these ads, all the truth ads, you know, the orange backgrounds with the white bubble letters. Truth. About how bad smoking is and stuff, and yet people still start. Like, how? Why? How do you see all this and think, nah, I'll be fine. Whatever. It's alright, actually. Like, obviously smoking's bad for you. Obviously. I don't understand these people. Whoa, where the F did this guy come from? And just casually walk slowly. Jeez. Like I was talking about, I always make these while I'm driving. It's middle of the night. Well, not really middle of the night. I just dropped my daughter off, so it's 9:06 at this point. And there's some guy just casually crossing the street. And he's not even he wasn't even really in anything that reflective. He was kind of dark. He had jeans on. He had like a red hoodie, but in the night, that's dark. And then he just walked slowly. Like, really? You almost got flattened, you idiot. You should have hustled. Not just casually walk while smoking. Seriously? What an idiot. I mean, I guess to his benefit, he was in the crosswalk, but, like, did you even look before you went? Did you make sure there was no cars coming? No. Ridiculous. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so I don't know why people start smoking, but still, if you're a raging chain smoker, again, nobody told you to start smoking. You chose to. You were an idiot and thought, yeah, this would be a good idea. I should buy some cigarettes and start using them. And then you just let it become a habit, which now it's more than just a habit, because now you have, like, that nicotine addiction or whatever, and your body's like, I need a cigarette. And now you can't cut it. I mean, same as being an alcoholic. It probably gets to that point where you struggle and feel like you need alcohol. But anyways, it's not a disease. You made the choice. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is, yeah, that doesn't qualify for food stamps. Make different choices. Quit being an alcoholic. Wean yourself off of it. Prioritize your money better. Or get a real job. Or both. You know? Like, I don't know, and then when people do need it, no, they can't get it. I do know an example. I guess it's kind of a private, personal, family type example, so maybe I won't talk about it. But still, I do know an example when somebody actually could have used it because they were literally dying, but no, don't let them get it. But, oh, you don't know English? There you go. Oh, you're an idiot? Don't have a real job and you're an alcoholic? Here you go. You're all set. Congratulations. Have a great day. So that's something that I would definitely cut back on and tighten up, because then that would just save the state money. Instead of wasting all this money on giving it to these people, it would be just sitting there to use for better purposes, for other things. Now, granted, I'm not trying to be the governor, so I guess at the end of the day, the governor could still waste the money in stupid ways, which would defeat my whole purpose, but the attempt would be there. Anyhow, what else did I want to try to get into politics for to change? I know there was a couple things I've been forgetting. I've been writing them down, too, just so I wouldn't forget. And there was a couple new ones, and now I can't remember them. I don't know. I always thought, though, too, if I did make it to president, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Like I said, that's not really a goal. House is good enough. But say somehow it did happen. Say my goals that I have actually happen, and I'm actually like a productive, proactive House member, and not like most of these idiots who really do nothing. And then I did run, and people liked me because only Connecticut people wouldn't like me, but still. And then I won. I did have a couple ideas for president that I would like to change. Like, one would be definitely back to, not really to copy Trump. This is just an idea that I had anyways, but definitely cut back on immigration. Like, legally as well. Maybe mine would be a little bit more extreme, because his was on illegal, but, everybody would say, oh, that's racist, blah, 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 but is it? It's putting your country first. Think about all these other countries that are very exclusive to their own nationality, like China. Does China have tons of different varieties in there? No, it's Chinese people. The Middle East, do they have tons of different types? No, it's all Saudi Arabians in Saudi Arabia. It's all Afghani people in Afghanistan. It's all India people in India. All Pakistani people in Pakistan. They're all the same. There's no weird, stupid diversity in all this crap. Japan, they're super, from what I've heard last, Japan is super inclusive, and like if you want to move there, it's like ridiculously hard. Their population is like 99% Japanese, and that's the way they want it to be. Oh, but I bet you these countries aren't racist though, because they keep their own kind. No, but America, if we were to do that, oh, we'd be super oh, why? Well, guess what? Those people have their own country. Why do they need to come here? The way I see it is, I don't have any business going there, so why do they need to come here? You have your own country. Duh. And, if you tightened it up, that would just make things better in the long run. Everyone always says diversity's better and all this, but I feel like, okay, how though? what really is the reason that constitutes that, diversity is better? Look at China. They're poised to take over like all global economies. Not take over like a renegade type, we're world dominators, but take over like they're supposed to have like the best GDP or something by like 2050 or something like that, right? Well, they're all Chinese. Or Japan. They're pretty solid themselves. They're all Japanese. Point is they don't have diversity. They're doing just fine. So why do we need to have it? It's not really something that we need to have. It's just a stupid ideology that everyone wants to push. It's just like all these other stupid ideologies. And somehow it's always the left. The left always is the ones that are pushing their crap. And you got to hear it all. And if you have a different opinion, you're a jerk. And blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. Like, there's nothing wrong with... You know what I mean? No, you probably don't. Actually, you might. Not many people listen to these, so it'll be people that I know. So you probably do. And if you don't know what I mean from a personal experience, you know what I mean and what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I would try to cut back on that. I would also cut back on this cancel culture bullcrap. How everybody's such a sensitive little baby nowadays. And like Dr. Seuss. Oh, Dr. Seuss is bad. We can't do him anymore. Like, Dr. Seuss was ridiculously kid-friendly. He's super popular with children's generations, and now all of a sudden, I can't believe he drew that picture. A little caricature. Seriously? Like, cancel culture needs to be canceled. So that would be something I would work on too. If I was president, trying to figure out a way. I mean, I wouldn't have to come up with it myself. I would have a team. Jeez, I could assign someone to do it. Make my VP do it or something. Wouldn't be on my plate. And just hand it off. Here you go. You work on this. Make it part of our agenda. Figure it out. I don't need to have the ideas. Look at Steve Jobs. He couldn't do anything. All he had was the ideas. He didn't know how to do any of the programming or the design work. He just had the ideas and said, here you go. Make it a reality. So, hey, we need to stop cancel culture, so figure out how to do it. I don't know what to do to get it started. I mean, cancel culture is just, it's not really a thing. It's kind of like the whole bullying movement under Barack's administration. It was just a thing. It was an ideology that you had to try to figure out how to realize. So, likewise, figure out how to end the stupid cancel culture crap. I mean, I guess ending cancel culture would be easy. Really, all you got to do is, when people whine, ignore them. Don't let them shut down something. If they want to stop shopping at store X because of some stupid little thing that it does, oh well, bye. You're not our customer anymore. No loss. We don't want you anyways. Instead of actually going through with shutting down such and such company is out of business because of this stupid little dumb thing. What else did I think about that I would do if I was president status? I thought about I would work on, definitely the transgender bullcrap. First off, this crap Biden's doing, he's trying to push it that everything's okay. That men can compete in women's sports. I don't care. It's not men. It's a woman. It is not a woman. This stupid trans bullcrap is very... It doesn't even make any sense. It's so... I don't even know where to get started. There's too many ideas. Like, how there's the stupid feminist movement nowadays as well? Everybody's, equality and blah, 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 and the stupid feminist movement. Yet the irony is they embrace the stupid guys that want to say they're girls. Like, how ironic is that? You're going to complain that you want equal rights, but then you're going to just casually let men come in and take over anything that should be given to you? Like, it's funny. I heard a joke about when Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce... got, Person of the Year or something? The Courage Award that year? Something dumb. And the joke was that, what did it say? Men are so good at everything they do that they can even win the awards meant for women or something like that. I don't know, some joke along the lines, and it was like that. It was just kind of funny. It was like, yeah, I know. And I bet you the stupid feminist crowds, though, they would applaud. Oh, good for you, Caitlyn. Congratulations. I know you've only been Bruce for 67 years, but that's fine. Now you want to be Caitlyn, so congratulations. Welcome to the club of women. No, that's not a woman. Dang it, that's a guy. He had 6 kids. He fathered them. He didn't mother them. He doesn't know what anything is like to be a woman. He doesn't know he doesn't know what a period is like. He doesn't know what menopause is like and the heat flashes. I mean, he's 60, what is he now, like 70 or something? If he was a real woman, he would have hit menopause, so he doesn't know what that's like. He fathered 6 kids, but he doesn't know what it's like to actually be pregnant and have to deliver them. He doesn't know what it's like to be an adolescent girl going through puberty. I mean, I imagine that's going to be kind of, I don't know, awkward and stuff. I mean, think about your first period. That's got to be a weird experience. You know, like this is all stuff that this idiot doesn't know. But, oh, you're a woman, right? I know, you're a woman. Because you have experienced so much as a woman. I mean, just recently, you chose to take on the role of being a woman and I guess buying bras and all that crap, right? But your whole life, you never knew what it was like to have those extra expenses that men don't have to deal with, like bras and some reason your underwear costs more than men. I mean, men, I think the prices of underwears are getting expensive, but I can get like a 5-pack for $15. Women, it's like a 2-pack is $15. But yeah, you don't really know about that. Yeah, now recently you chose to, I am a woman. Let me have this interview with Barbara Walters to explain how I am 100% a woman. Okay, Bruce. But anyways, yeah, you don't understand any of that. And I just feel like this whole stupid tranny movement, whatever you want to call it, trans movement, is just demeaning to the actual individuals. Just like in the opposite direction, a woman going to a man. I mean, I guess there's not as much trials and tribulations of being a guy. I'd say being a guy is probably pretty easy. But still, you don't actually know what it's like to be a guy. You know? You don't. You have all those weird experiences that I just said, like female puberty and all that. That's your experiences. You don't know what it's like to actually be a guy. To be like little and then, you know, wait for puberty. Oh, finally, I'm finally big now. But yeah, you don't know what it's like. So no, you're not a man either. You're just an idiot. Okay, maybe you're not an idiot, but you definitely have mental health issues that need to be addressed. And so, yeah, that's something that if I was president, would try to push instead. Help our people. Don't just embrace the insanity. Get proper help. No, you're not. You're a man. You are not competing in women's sports. What is wrong with you? Like, currently, there's been so many records being destroyed, and it's like, gee, I wonder why. Because men are naturally stronger than women. So, duh, they're going to dominate. It's called testosterone. So yeah, a natural-born man is going to be able to crush tons of records women can do. Like I heard in women's division of tennis, you know, Serena, is it Serena or Venus? Which one is it? Venus, right? Venus is the better of the two, right? Anyways, Venus is like ranked, number 1 or number 2 in the world for women's. But they said if she competed in men's, she wouldn't even be in the top 200. Because it's just how it goes. Men are stronger. They can hit the ball faster. They can hit the ball further. They can do all this stuff that just women don't have the physical capabilities to do because estrogen doesn't allow for it. So that's why now these men are coming along. Yeah, I'm a woman. Can I compete in women's powerlifting? I just lifted 700 pounds. I crushed the record. Previous was 380. I don't really know what it was, but, you know. And it's like, that's stupid. Like, there definitely needs to be an asterisk on these things. You know, in baseball, if a guy does steroids and he hits, 90 home runs in one season, he gets an asterisk because he didn't actually hit those 90 home runs. He cheated with steroids. Naturally, he probably would have only gotten 30. So likewise, with these men that pretend they're women, there needs to be an asterisk. Well, actually, it just needs to not be happening because that's not fair to actual women. You know, it's like these women, all these records too, from natural-born women. You know how hard these women worked to make those records in the first place? Like, say the powerlifting for a woman. I don't really know what it is offhand, but just hypothetically, say it's 400 pounds powerlifting for a natural woman. Like, you know how much work she had to put into to build up that strength to be able to powerlift 400 pounds? Where, likewise, you know how little work an actual man has to put in to powerlift 400 pounds? I haven't worked out in 10 years. I could probably powerlift if I really needed to. I could probably powerlift 200 pounds at least. I'd be halfway there, and I haven't worked out in 10 years. So you know what I mean? Tiny bit of effort, and boom, I'd be there. where these women have worked out for years to get that strong, and it just diminishes their efforts to allow natural born men to say, yeah, I'm a woman, and then destroy these records. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that is definitely something that I would change. First off, rescind that from Biden's crap. No, you are not assimilating. If you're a man, you're not going in the women's room, and if you're a woman, you're not going in the men's room. What's the matter with you? Because then you got to think about the kids too. Maybe adults would be like, this is weird, but it's one thing with adults, but with kids, you're gonna have your little girl in the bathroom, she's 7, 8, 9 years old, and then a natural born man's gonna walk in, oh, I'm a woman. Like, that's not right. That if you can't go into the bathroom that is assigned to what you are, then that's what the family bathroom's for. Go in there. Then you can be whatever you want. You want to say you're a zebra? Who cares? You're hidden away in a private bathroom where no one has to see you. No one has to see what you're doing. It's private, and you can be that zebra as much as you want. But you're not going to go out into the regular population bathrooms and be like, I'm a zebra. I can choose either bathroom. I'm going to go pee in this one, and then I'm going to run into the other one and wash my hands. No. There's a reason that there's 2 separate ones. So that would be something that I would be changing. And then likewise, I would have to work with, somehow try to create a push for these transgender people to get psychiatric help. Because you know what I feel like too with the stupid transgender movement? It's just like the gay, or more like lesbian movement. Not movement, just trend, I should say, of like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was like every girl that was my age all of a sudden was trying out a lesbian phase, and all the girls were dating other girls, and it was like, you're not a lesbian, you were just with a guy for 7 years, you two broke up, and now you're a lesbian? Okay. And they all did it, and then they all were with the girl for 1 or 2 years, and then they split up, and what did they get back with? Men. And it was like, you're not bi, you're not a lesbian. This is some kind of weird, stupid trend that needs to not be happening. And that's basically the situation with this stupid trans movement. It's not a real thing. It's just people going through a weird phase like, oh, it's the thing to do. It's the in thing. Yeah, I'll change. I'm a woman. Or, yeah, I'm a guy. So, yeah, that's something I would push for. To, like how they have suicide prevention hotlines and stuff and all that, then I would have those set up. Do you think that you're transgender? Call this to speak with a licensed therapist that can walk you through your issues. But yeah, so this nonsense just needs to stop. I don't know why all the weird crazy stuff that used to be made fun of is now getting embraced. Why did this change come about? How did it get so like popularized? That's not how you say it either. Popularized. That's close enough. But yeah, how did it get so popular to have all the weird backwards nonsense thinking? I don't know, it's just like that freak they got in the White House now, because, Biden's smart. But I don't even know what the thing's position is. The man that wants to pretend he's a woman but looks terrible, not even like a woman in the slightest bit. Like, you're not fooling anyone, bro. But yeah, this idiot has all kinds of obnoxious, disgusting ideas that he thinks needs to be going through. Because you chose to have a weird lifestyle yourself. Like, he's talking about... what are some of his stupid ideas? I don't know. I think he's part of the sports problem, having men participate in women's sports. Okay, yeah, not real men, trans men, but you know what? They're trans women, whatever. They're still a man, so F you. It's a man in my speech. So, having men play women's sports and having the bathrooms open to whoever. Like, what's the point of having men's and women's bathrooms if it's just going to be floodgates for anybody to go on in there? Like... They're separate for a reason. Anyhow, but yeah, now the newest thing apparently is like hormone blockers in kids as young as 4th grade, which that's 9 years old. So that way then you can decide what you want to be. There's no deciding in what you want to be. If you're a girl, you'll be a woman when you grow up. If you're a boy, you'll be a man when you grow up. You don't decide, it's that time of my life. I gotta start thinking, let's see. I think woman will work for me. I don't want to be a guy anymore. Like, what? What's even dumber is, you gotta be 16 to drive because that's, maybe it's a size thing as well, so you can be big enough to reach the pedals and what have you. But still, you gotta be 16 so then you're a reasonable enough age that you can handle driving. You gotta be 18 to be considered an adult and be able to, go to casinos and stuff. You gotta be 21 to drink. You gotta be, I think they changed it to 21 for cigarettes now too. It used to be 18, but I'm pretty sure it's 21 for that as well. There's all these restrictions on other things, but oh yeah, are you a boy and you want to be a girl? 9's a good age to make that decision. Seriously? Like, this obnoxious movement needs to stop. So that would definitely be something that I would work on handling. What else? Oh, another thing, if I was president, that I would work on is, everybody's always talking about the stupid gun laws. Oh, we gotta protect our right to bear arms. Personally, I don't see it as that's that important. The way I see it is, when that amendment was made, I mean, we're talking about the 1700s, when militias were still a thing, which, if you don't know, a militia is basically a pop-up group of people ready to go to war. You didn't have a solidified enough army like we do nowadays. You didn't have the draft like you do nowadays. So you needed whatever you could get if you needed to supplement your army. And so that was militia. And of course you'd have to have the right to have a gun. How else are you going to be able to do a pop-up army if nobody has a gun? So it was different times when that was made. Now I feel like it's kind of, guns aren't really that important. I mean, I'm not saying if I became president I would worry about getting rid of them. I don't think that all this fighting that people have to keep their guns is relevant. Like, what do you need a gun for that badly? What do you desperately need a gun for? So that way then you can shoot targets in your backyard, so that then you can go kill wild animals. I mean, you literally have no other uses for your gun. You can't. So what do you need that gun for? That you're gonna fight for it this hard? It's kind of stupid. Actually, it's not kind of stupid. It is stupid. But regardless, whatever. These people love their guns for whatever reason. The only thing I can see that's pro allowing people to keep their guns is, if people don't have guns, then that means the government has all the guns, and then things could get dangerous. Then it becomes, the government has more power to be able to take over, basically, be more, autonomous or autocratic or whatever. If people can't defend themselves because they don't have the means to, and all the people that are in government and authority positions have, all these high-end AKs and what have you, and we have nothing, maybe just some knives. I mean, it's not a fair battleground. So at least people having guns kind of keeps a little bit of a balance. Yeah, there's some guns we can't get because they're reserved for the military and what have you, but at least having some access helps to reduce government's control, I think. I mean, think about whenever something does get banned anyways, it just causes chaos in another form, like when they did Prohibition. Look what happened there. You ended up having all these crime lords coming out, like, what the heck's his name? Why would I draw a blank? The Chicago guy, dang it. I can think of his face. I can't think of his name. Tom Hardy played him later in life. Capone. Jeez, why was I struggling for that? I thought of every stupid detail about him, but I couldn't think of his name. Anyways, Capone. That's basically what he was able to grow on, was Prohibition. That was his whole shtick. So it kind of creates other problems, and maybe if guns did get banned, then it would create other problems. We'd have like an American version of ISIS probably, where the people that are smuggling guns or black marketing guns would be doing just that. But still, anyhow, though, what I was trying to get at is the First Amendment. Everybody seems to be skipping over that to go to the guns. And it's like, yeah, but the First Amendment's all about free speech and stuff. And it's kind of like, in today's world, there's not really free speech anymore. It's casually getting limited. And for some reason, people just aren't seeing it, which is weird. Or they're just not choosing to pay attention to it, and they're worried about their guns instead, or I don't know. But think about it, like, it's primarily stupid leftist, liberal, Democrat bullcrap on all TV shows. I mean, well, news outlets, not TV shows per se, but like news outlets. If you have a right-wing, conservative, Republican-style viewpoint, then it's like you're in the minority and you're just fighting a losing battle, sort of, because some reason the left is casually dominating, which makes no sense. And yeah, it's just, and then look at like with Trump, like they banned him from everything, and essentially over nothing. And they banned him from everything. He can't get onto anything unless like the CPAC thing he did. That was like the only way he was able to get out. But otherwise, everything. YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, even dumb things he's never done, he's banned from. Like, what was it? I don't know. There was something, and somebody was like, Trump was on blah, blah, blah. And it was like, no, they're just preemptively banning him, which is ridiculous. But yeah, and it's happening to others as well. You get a ban or just a temporary suspension, and it's like, that's not supposed to be happening. You know, there's that whole reason with the free speech and stuff, like, let it be. You don't like it, then don't tune into it. It's like a TV show. If you're watching TV and you don't like it, you change the channel. You don't go and make sure it gets, well, nowadays with the stupid wussy cancel culture bullcrap, yeah, people would complain, I don't like this show, let's cancel it. But if you're normal, like how things were 10, 15 years ago, you'd just change the channel and carry on, not worry about throwing a fit and being a little baby because something didn't agree with your mentally challenged brain. Non-existent brain might be the better way to phrase that. Actually, I can't even make fun of these people and say mentally challenged, because you know what? Mentally challenged people are actually smarter than all these morons with the woke culture and the cancel culture and all that crap. Mentally challenged people don't deal with that. They don't care. They just carry on. They're living their own life, doing their own thing. Like, yeah, whatever, F you. Don't care about you. They're not worried about throwing a fit. This person's normal. I don't like them. Why do I have a disability and they don't? They don't care. Jeez, is that what's going to be next? Is the stupid society going to be trying to ban handicapped people? Oh, you're different. I don't like that. Seriously. So that would be enforced. And then the other thing that I would do, I know this is kind of possibly a controversial, not controversial, but in the government it would be controversial type situation, is to more regulate media so it is impartial. That's what it's supposed to be all about. The news should just be the news as it is, not with a spin on it, not with a twist on it. It should just be as is. Like CNN. CNN is supposed to be a non-stop news network, and it should be impartial, but it's not. It's extremely leftist and everything, and that's not right. You should be able to tune into the news and just get the news, not get somebody's political viewpoint slammed into your face. You know, if a tree falls and it's blocking a road and they're making a news story about it because it, broke power lines and blah, blah, blah as well, then the story should just be about the tree that fell and the power lines that are out and the people that don't have power and what Eversource is doing and what, Splenda's doing to move that tree out of the way and blah, blah, blah. But no, it's like somewhere like CNN would put some kind of weird spin on it and somehow make it out that, the tree hated Trump and that's why it fell. It just needed to commit suicide. And it would be like, what? The tree don't know what's going on. It just fell because it was rotted out. What's the matter with you? So that's something I would try to regulate too. All news needs to be neutral. I mean, yeah, I guess if you have like a late night show, that's different. That's your show. It's your thing. So whatever. Like idiots like Stephen Colbert, he wants to keep being the moron that he is, then go for it. It's your dumb late night show. Like nobody's going to Stephen Colbert for actual news in the world. They're going for their entertainment anyways. And of course, if they like him, then they agree with the stupid things that he thinks and says. So, whatever. But I'm just talking about like actual regular mainstream news. I guess that would also mean Fox News would have to be reduced as well and just be more balanced and middle ground. Because they're a normal news network as well. But it's just the biases are just too psychotic and ridiculous. Either that or they just need to make it more even. You can have all your stupid news networks that are leaning one way, but make it so it's even. It's like for every right-wing news channel, there's like 17 left-wing. Not really, but it's probably a ratio more of like 4-1. I mean, Fox News, and then what does the other side have? MSNBC, CNN, I don't really know. I don't watch the news, but still, I already said 2-1.
So it's imbalanced. Actually, what else is there anyways for right-wing news? It's literally just like Fox News, right? And everything else is left. So that's what I'm trying to get at. It needs to be more balanced. Either more channels, or else the existing channels need to stop having their stupid biases and just be neutral and just say the news as it is and not worry about putting a spin on it. I did have one more thing that I thought of that if I was president I would want to do, but I can't remember now. I got too distracted with my last topic. Oh, that's it. I was thinking I would want to try to break the mold of how political figures in general do business. Especially, I mean, I'm talking if I was president, then especially how presidents do it. All presidents do the same exact tactics. Doesn't matter who you are, what your party is, it's always the same. They campaign, they say things that sound nice and sexy so that then you like them, and then they get elected and they don't do any of it. And then they basically just do the same thing as the last guy. Literally, it's always just the same thing as the last guy. Well, I gotta start some wars for no reason. Oh, we gotta raise taxes a little bit. Oh, we gotta do this nonsense. Oh, we gotta do that nonsense. And it's never anything that they said in their campaign trail at all. They said all this stuff that sounded good, never got done. So, what I would want to do is I would actually want to follow through with what I said. I'd have to figure out how to get funding, so then I wouldn't have to be in the, so to speak, back pocket of any industry. Like, oh, well, we gave you $2 million or whatever, so you need to do this for us. Scratch my back, we scratched yours, so you'd win. I don't want that. I don't want those ties to any idiots that think that they got me in their pocket. Because no, I would be doing this for me, not for company X and company Y. So, and then what I'd want to do is whatever I say is going to happen on my campaign trail, I'd want that to be my real agenda. Like, that's what I really want to have happen. And then what I'd want to do is hold rallies that aren't traditional rallies. I wouldn't want to hold like Trump had 7 million rallies when he was president, but it was just him talking and getting everyone pumped up, and basically it was 2017 and he was already pre-planning his campaign run for 2020. Man, why am I so yawny right now? This is annoying. I'm trying to talk and every 2 seconds, you gotta hear this, because I'm yawning. Anyways, but yeah, what I'd want to do is hold campaign rallies that almost were like press conferences, but with regular citizens, not reporters. That way then they can say what's on their mind and what they want to see changed and blah, blah, blah. And then I can take that into consideration and do my part. If it's within reason. I mean, maybe some of the things would be ridiculous. I think all citizens should have $5,000 a month just given to them just because they live here. Well, that's dumb. That's going to cause extreme debt, and that's obnoxious. But, you know, I'm sure there's some ideas. Because obviously as a citizen myself, there's things I think of that I would want changed. That, you know, and things that, I mean, I already have. This whole thing was talking about me, what I would change. But I'm sure there's a lot more that I just don't ever think of. The things that have never dawned on me. I mean, for example, I only live in an apartment. I'm not a homeowner. So maybe there's, I mean, hopefully if I was making it to the status of president, I'd be able to be a homeowner and not still just renting a stupid apartment. But I'm just saying, as is, I don't know about homeowner problems. Maybe there's some things that homeowners would have grievances with. Like, oh, this should change. But I just don't know. I don't have that experience to know about what it's truly like. So, you know what I mean? So I could talk to these people and see what they think, and then the good ones I could actually work on and make those changes. And obviously as well, I'd be going to like all the states, so I'd have a wide variety of different complaints from people. Like, for example, I live in New England. Well, who knows what it's like in Arizona type area, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, you know, kind of hot-ish western areas. Maybe they have things that they hate in their day-to-day lives that I would just never think of as being a New Englander. You know, so this would get me exposed, and then I could be like, oh, yeah, that's an idea. I never thought of that. And then, boom, get that handled for them. Then go up north to, like, Montana. Maybe they got some problems. Solve their issues. Like, that's what I'd want to try to do. Be more proactive. I know that would probably be hard because, you know, you got to run a country and it's nonstop work and you got to deal with foreign leaders and stuff as well. But still, I'd try to figure out a way to sneak in. And even if it was like one a week, I mean, yeah, I got 4 years on the minimum to do one area a week. I mean, there's 50 states. There's 52 weeks in a year. So I could at least hit each state in the course of my first year. So, I could go to each state 4 times. And then if I got 2 terms, I could go to each state 8 times. So, but that's something I'd want to do too. Be more proactive and actually be, as the president, the president is the leader of the country, the face of the country, the head of the country. And it's, supposed to be selected by the people. They chose for person X to lead them. And then it's always person X just turns into a dickhead and takes the power that was given to him and just runs with it like, well, this is mine now. I don't know anybody anything. Oh, I got how many votes from people? I don't care. My position now. And it's like, no, that's not your position. People chose you. So if I was chosen, then I'd want to do the right thing. It's kind of like when you work for when you get a job at a company and say there was a lot of candidates and you got hired, which means that they chose you. You're not going to slack off and do a crappy job at your job. You're not going to be like, oh, well, you guys chose me. So now I can do whatever I want. I'm going to run my own business out of your business. That way then I don't have to worry about overhead at all. I don't need to have computers. I don't need to have software. I can just do it all here. Like, no, the company would fire you. They'd be like, what? That's not what we hired you for. We hired you because we liked you. We thought you'd be the best option for us, not to do your own thing. Well, that's like the dang presidents. They get the job and then they're just like, whatever, I'm going to do my own thing. So that's something else I don't really want to call that a change. It's not really a change per se. It's just a different way of doing things that really hasn't ever been done before. And who knows? Maybe if I did become president and I started doing that, it would be cool, because then maybe I'd start a precedent. And maybe everyone after me would start doing what I did, because people maybe would like that the president's coming out and actually listening to them and making changes based on their suggestions and stuff. So, I could actually start something that would be kind of cool, and then it's just a new trend, thanks to me. All right, so I just thought of a little bit more. I know this is a weird transition after you've been listening to this thing, and all of a sudden I'm saying, all right, so, but in all fairness, I've recorded this in sections. I think this is technically like part 4, and it's been being recorded over the course of, up to like a week and a half, 2 weeks now, so... But it's a couple more things I thought of. So the first one is building off of the state rep idea that I have. So this one goes back to like paternal rights and such. It's more, I don't know how to phrase it, so I'm just gonna try to describe it. So basically it's like this: a woman can go to Planned Parenthood or their personal gynecologist or whatever and just get an abortion if they want. There's no, there's nothing that has to go on other than that. She walks in, yeah, I'm pregnant, I want to get rid of it, boom, bam, done, it's handled. But in reverse, if she gets pregnant and keeps the child, the guy doesn't have a say. Even if he signs his rights away, he's still obligated to pay child support. So I know that there's some people that are for this standard, and they say something stupid like, oh, he doesn't have to be involved in, because someone posed this, like, a woman can just get rid of the child, but a man, blah, blah. Well, he doesn't have to be a part of the child's life, he can sign his rights away. And it's like, nope, because he still has to pay child support. So the point is it's very unfair and one-sided. It's like the extremes are kill and get rid of the kid, if that's what a woman wants. But if a guy wants that and the woman doesn't, well, now he has to pay for it forever. And it's like, well, how? What? Well, not forever, but for 18 years. But, it's like, how does that make sense? So I just think something needs to be changed about that. Like, I don't want to say men should be able to have the right to refuse to pay child support, because then all it's going to do, if that was allowed, is it would probably create tons of deadbeat dads. Tons of guys like, oh, whatever, I don't want to be in the kid's life, I was just fooling around with you, have a good time, bye. And then that's just going to make a weird situation, and then possibly all these women are going to end up on welfare instead, and ugh. So that's not any better. But I think maybe something should be changed in regards to, like, Planned Parenthood themselves, or even the regular gynecologist, something, just so that when they go to the doctor and ask, or say, I want to get an abortion, maybe there's a check Oh! What's up with these bunnies all the time? Seriously, I just had a T4Cast not too long ago where I was talking about a stupid bunny ran out in front of me. Now another stupid bunny ran out in front of me. I don't know if I got him. I couldn't tell. I was locking him up, though. It came close. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything, so I assume he got away. But, like, come on. Why? Every single time now? This is what I got to deal with? This stupid bunny's being mentally challenged? You see a car coming, just wait. There's no one behind me, no one in front of me. Just wait. Like, I'm cruising. I'm on a road where the speed limit's like 40. Like, I can't just be casually locking them up in the road because you want to make a dumb choice. I mean, I guess I can. It's like a back road. There's no one around. But still, it's still rough, and I'm cruising, and then all of a sudden I got to try to lock them up. Anyways, what was I saying before this dumb bunny ran out in front of me? I don't know. Something about... oh yeah, it should be like Planned Parenthood or gynecologists in general or what have you need to have, like, if a woman wants to get an abortion, they need to have maybe some kind of check with a man, but with the father, I mean, of that child, whether, you know, the guy's there and says, yeah, I'm on board with this, or maybe they give him a call before they do the procedure, you know. I mean, obviously some situations might be hard. If it's like you met some guy at a club and you kind of just were drunk and hooked up, you might not have his number or other contact information, so then it's kind of like, well, how do I call him? But, you know, and then, I mean, I don't really know how you'd be able to prove that either, because then if they got stringent and they're like, well, we need to have the consent from the guy for, I know you can just say that you met at the club, but I don't know. So, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not at this point yet. I'm not even running for the house or anything yet. I'm still in the very beginning stages trying to work with my local town. So, obviously, if the day came, I'd have to have a much better plan than what I have right now. But still, I'm just saying, like, something needs to happen. Or the more extreme version, which might be easier, is just, you know, let guys be able to refuse. Like, if they sign their rights away, then don't make them pay child support. I don't know, that actually seems wrong, though. Because if I have to pay child support and I am actively in my child's life, then that's not right. Some loser can just not be even in the kid's life. So I don't know, but you know what I'm trying to say. Just, I'd have to work out the details, but it's just an idea that I have. Like, something needs to change. Because it's kind of like, well, no, this is actually a part 2, not kind of like, this is actually a part 2. So the other thing is I guess for the most part, you could say I'm pretty conservative. I mean, most people that know me say that, and I guess I am. I don't agree with most of the stuff that these liberal freaks are saying, so you can't really say I'm libertarian at all. But there are 2 pieces of liberalism that I didn't realize were actually liberal ideals. One of which I can't remember right now. It's something that I kind of just stumbled across, I don't know, a couple months back, and I was like, what? That's on the liberal agenda, and I actually agree with that? Ugh. But the other one is being pro-choice, which I didn't realize that was a liberal thing. That seems weird. Seems like pro-life would be a liberal thing, you know, with all the other freak stuff. Oh, LGBTQPTTAOZXQBA community is great. Oh, and all this other dumb freaks. Hey, let's make my hair blue. Hey, let's worry about Band-Aid colors because, you know, a melatonin, I don't know if that's the right word, a Caucasian colored Band-Aid doesn't look good on a darker individual. It's adding insult to injury. Like, shut up. It's a Band-Aid. It's just a generic color that they make the thing. Ugh. So yeah, I don't agree with all those freaks. So you'd think pro-life would be their thing. Like, all lives matter. You gotta, if it's in there, it needs to be alive. And so apparently that's actually the conservative idea, though. Pro-life. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I didn't know that. And I'm not on board with that. I think pro-choice. The reason I think pro-choice is because there's actually a lot of reasons. I gotta kind of interject right now. I'm gonna have to open one of my windows because, like always, I'm driving and it's kind of muggy out tonight and I'm a little bit warm myself. I did just take a shower and I'm really fogging it up in here. I can almost barely see, so I gotta open the window to help things out. So I hope this isn't too loud and interferes with my recording. But if it gets a bit ridiculous, that's why I had to open the window. Anyhow, so yeah, I think pro-choice is the option because there's a lot of things that can happen that just, you know, you shouldn't have to be stuck with the child. And I'll get into this in a minute, but I'll just put some examples out there, like, those weird southern states like Alabama and stuff where they have like fathers raping their daughters. Like, if that girl wants to go get an abortion, like, she should be able to. You shouldn't have to live with literally lifelong evidence that your father molested you. Like, that's effed up. That's effed up enough to have to think about it. But at least sometimes people are able to repress it and they kind of forget just because of how their brain like shuts it out because it's so traumatic. But if you got a kid, you can't forget. Who's your child's father? My dad. Like, so you're gonna say that like, that's not right. Or back to my example that I posed earlier with the one night stand type thing. You're at a bar, not a bar, you're at a club, you're both drunk and you hook up. Oops, she's pregnant. I mean, you're both drunk, you're not thinking, you're just going, oh, this is awesome. So in a situation like that, none of you, or I should say neither of you, were planning on having a child. Neither of you were ready to have a child. You were out having fun at the club, and then you hooked up with somebody to end off your night on a good note as well. Like, so again, that's a situation where it shouldn't be like, nope, pro-life, it's there, so let's have it. No, like, yeah, you made a bad choice, and you might say that's not right to the child, but at that stage, it's just a little embryo. Is it even an embryo? What comes first? It's zygote that comes first, right? Like, it's basically nothing. You can't even see it. I mean, yeah, you can see it in the ultrasound, but if it came out, it would just look like nothing. It's just a bunch of cells. It's nothing at that point. And it's just a little whoopsie. I mean, at that point, you could just say that, if you play with yourself, then that's killing life too, because all those little things are swimming around they're trying to find an egg. Oh, that's bad. We're pro-life. So it's the same idea. It's not a kid. It's just a nothing at that point. So yeah, a situation like that, you should be able to get rid of it. Or maybe even in a situation, say you recently hooked up with someone, and yeah, you're in a committed relationship, but say it hasn't been long, say it's like 2 months, 3 months in, and you get pregnant. Maybe it would be an option just to be on the safe side. You're like, well, things are going good, but I mean, we haven't really been together that long. Who knows what's going to happen? Do we really want to be tied down like this? And then you'd make the choice. Okay, let's just do this just in case. I mean, you never know. Maybe it works out great and you end up spending the rest of your lives together. And then, maybe you kind of regret that abortion. Okay, that would suck. But in the moment, it felt like it was the better option. Like, just in case we don't last, do we really want to have a kid between us? And then we got to deal with visitation and blah, blah, blah. No, we're not really trying to start a family. We're just dating. Like, let's just say these people are young. There you go. That's what makes it better of an example, I guess. They're not in their 30s and they're just starting to date. They're, high teens, like 18, 19, or maybe low 20s. And they've only been together for a few months. So those people, should they be stuck with a kid? No. I mean, geez, it could be their first relationship even. Like, this is just the trial run, just to get all the kinks out, find out what you want in someone else, what you don't want, maybe learn some things about yourself, so when you get into a better relationship, most times not all relationships work out in the first try, so... So yeah, a situation like that would be acceptable. Or like, what about rape? I know they say that rape doesn't really work to be able to get pregnant, because basically the woman's body essentially shuts down. So even if she was in like peak ovulating time, whatever the word is, it wouldn't happen because the body's just going to shut down. But still, what if it did happen? You mean to tell me that, these pro-lifers, that she should have to keep that kid, or at least bring it to birth and then put it up for adoption? And either, that's... And now I guess the next step to go is to talk about the opposite side of things, which is from that child's perspective. So, tailgating off of the last example I provided, in this case, that means the kid would most likely never know his dad. Even if the mom kept him, he's never going to know his dad, because the dad was just some idiot raping women. He's probably in jail, or who knows where he is. The mom's not seeking him out. She got raped by him. Like, she don't want to see him again. And then if they put him up for adoption, it's like, oh, so my dad's a raper and my mom got rid of me, which is understandable. You wouldn't, I don't think you'd have animosity towards your mom, because you'd understand, like, well, yeah, I'm a product of something traumatic. But still, it's like, wow, I'm worse than an accident. At least an accidental child is, well, your parents did care about each other and they were, enjoying one another, and oops, here's you. This isn't even accidental. It's some idiot was being predatory, and, your mom wasn't even interested and kind of just got it forced on her. And so, really, should someone have to live with that? Like, wow, that's what I'm from. Wow, I'm nothing. That's cool. Or, the example I provided with incest stuff, like the dad raping the daughter, or uncles raping their niece or something weird, like in that movie Split, how that main character girl, it's like her uncle molested her, especially after her dad died. Yeah, so what? Someone like that, she should have to keep the kid? And then it's like, oh, maybe they see the kid, oh, who's your dad? Oh, my dad's my grandpa. My dad's my great uncle. That kid should not have to be forced to exist, and the mom shouldn't have to be forced to keep that kid and have to be constantly reminded about that trauma. Like, oh my God, my dad raped me, and here's our kid. And the kid shouldn't have to be like, oh, my mom's technically my sister as well, and my dad is technically my grandpa as well, and yeah, my family's effed up because of my dad. Like, no, So that's why I say what I say with the pro-choice stuff, because there are times where it's right. Now, from what I understand, I don't know how far abortions can go up to. I think they technically can go pretty far. Like, I think there should be a limit on when you get an abortion, because at a certain point, like 6 months and on, that baby is a baby. You technically can give birth at 6 months, and it's just a major preemie, yeah, it's going to stay in the hospital, but it still looks normal. It's not like, oh, it's still developing, it looks weird. No, it's just small. So, you can't go and do an abortion on that. That's a kid. You really are killing a kid. But, 1 month in, they're basically nothing. 2 months, they're basically nothing. Even 3 months, they're still relatively nothing. So, I'd have to really know, what the medical developments look like. But, yeah, there should be a certain cutoff. Like, if you're at 6 months, too late. You don't want the kid, just deliver it and then put it up for adoption. I'm not, we can't do abortions. Sorry, it's too late. I'm literally killing a kid at this point. But 1 month, whatever. 2 months, most likely still whatever. And 3 months, maybe 3 months it starts to have a heartbeat. Oh, it's alive, it has a heartbeat. Yeah, but it looks like a tadpole. Like, calm down. It's still not really anything. If you did make it 3 months, though, why? It's kind of weird. Why would you wait so long? Obviously, you knew before that, or you should have known, right? This doesn't just spring up like, oh, hey, I just realized I think I might be pregnant. Like, obviously, there's some cues. You missed a couple periods. Maybe you feel a little goofy. Something's off. You're having weird cravings. Why do I want pickles all of a sudden? I've never liked pickles in my life. Not only that, but I eat a raw onion every single night. I don't know what's going on. Come on, let's look at the movie Knocked Up. She found out she was pregnant, the very next day? So there's really no reason why it should go 3 months and you don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of my stance on that. A couple more clauses that I'd have to work in and try to figure out. Then the other idea that I thought of is more, it basically applies to both. I think on a presidential level, it would be a heck of a lot easier to enforce and make just obviously a national thing. But hey, even on the rep level, I could still enforce it from my state, and maybe some other state legislators would kind of see things from my point of view as well, and then it would kind of take off that way. Who knows? But my thing is regulations on weed. Right now, weed is getting to be very laid back. It's what is it? Just a misdemeanor for a certain amount of Anya and stuff. I guess, yeah. It's been kind of crazy all along prior. Weed was a hardcore felony. People have a little bit of weed on them, and they could get 20 years in jail. It's all right, that's a bit excessive for weed. That's stupid. But I don't think it should be as laid back as it is. I think it definitely does need to maintain some level of enforcement behind it. Because here's my thing. First off, everybody is always, especially in minimum wage jobs, they go to work high all the time. Is that professional, or is that the right thing what you should be doing? No. Can you go to work drunk? No. So why are people going to work high? And that means they're driving high. you can't drink and drive, but what, you can smoke and drive? Yeah, I guess I get it to a certain degree. The effects are different than being drunk, but in any case, you're still under the influence, so to speak, or really not so to speak. You literally are under the influence of something. And, you know, I don't know what it really does. I've never done anything. I don't smoke weed or do drugs in general, I should say. I don't do drugs, I don't drink, and I don't smoke. Smoke like cigarettes. But still, obviously it does something. If it didn't do anything, no one would do it. It does something. I mean, you get high, whatever that means, whatever that feels like, whatever that's doing. It's doing something. So, you know, it's affecting you in some way. And what, everyone's just going to be able to be high everywhere? Go to the store baked, go to work baked, drive around baked. Oh, let me take care of your baby baked. Like, let's put it this way. Say you had a babysitter that was high. Would you feel comfortable? Like, they show up and they're clearly baked and you're like, oh, well, we're going out tonight. Here you go. Thanks for showing up. Here's the money. We'll pay you ahead of time. You wouldn't feel comfortable if they were baked. You'd be like, are you serious right now? Did you do something before you came? Yeah, I smoked weed. You know, it wouldn't be like, oh, okay, never mind, yeah. Like, you wouldn't like it, especially if you're a responsible enough parent. You'd be like, are you kidding me right now? You knew you had to come do this, and you chose to get high first? And currently, at least, to support that example, DCF does do something if there's proof of parents smoking weed all the time. I ought to know. The person that used to live on my first floor was always smoking weed, and I called DCF on them a couple times, and DCF came out both times. And then they had to have regular like supervised, not really supervised visits, but they would show up like once a week just to check in on things, see how stuff was going. I thought that was kind of weak. Like, once a week, like, it's okay. So the other 6 days, the people can casually smoke weed, and one day, oh, I guess we got to skip today because my DCF person might show up. But still, DCF does get involved. So, you know, if it wasn't a big deal, DCF wouldn't get involved. So anyways, my thing with weed, though, is not only do I think it's stupid that people can just casually be high all the time, but it's also disruptive towards others. See, you might say that, you know, well, drinking can be disruptive. That's legal. And it's like, well, yeah, it is, but it's disruptive based on the person, how they react. Yeah, if they're crazy drunk, okay, that could be a problem. I mean, the person that used to live on the second floor of my apartment, they would drink, and it was like early in the morning on a Saturday, and they'd be out there with their headphones in, singing along to their music, but they were like yelling, singing because they were wasted, and it was obnoxious, and it was ridiculous. But what I mean by it's not as obstructive is, say they're not rowdy and they're just drinking, getting wasted in their own place. Well, you're not going to know. Nobody's going to know. They're just quietly drinking and watching TV or whatever. But if someone's smoking weed, you know. That crap floats around. If it's in an apartment complex, it comes upstairs or goes downstairs or whatever. Or it floats next door, so if you go outside, you smell it. Like, it's known. It's not anonymous. It's there. And, like, again, back to those morons on the first floor that I called DCF on a couple times. There was times where they smoked so much, or I don't know what they were doing, smoking a lot or something strong, or I don't know. There used to be 3 of them. The person that lived there, and they'd have 2 friends come over, and they'd just smoke a stupid amount. Either they each had a joint, or they were smoking a Cheech and Chong, or I don't know what they were doing, but it was vicious. It would come up in my apartment. And, I mean, if you didn't know any better, you'd think I was the one smoking. It was so strong. Like, there was times I'd come home from work, and they probably were just started smoking at that time, and it was already vicious in my apartment. And then within 20 minutes, it was disgusting in my place. It was so strong that it would literally make me feel sick, like I'd want to throw up. Literally. Like, I'm not even just saying, like, sometimes people say that, it makes me want to throw up, as like a phrase, a hyperbolous phrase. No, it would make me feel like I had to throw up. It was so strong and disgusting. And it was obnoxious, and it was regularly. It was at least, 3 times a week, 4 times a week? And then it started to get to the point when it was almost every day. This person had groups of friends. They had a couple guys that would come over, and then they had a girl that came over. And at least when the girl came over, they used to smoke outside. You'd still smell it because it was summer, and I have all my windows open, so it would come up and be in my place. But it wasn't as powerful, but it was still enough to be annoying. And so that's what I think. Like, it's not... This is something that's not just contained, you know? It's not like drinking. I mean, you know, it's a little bit more obnoxious. Now, I know you might say cigarettes as well. The smoke travels. True. And cigarettes aren't safe. But at the end of the day, even though secondhand smoke isn't safe, there's not really much of a risk that you're going to experience any kind of mind-altering effects due to cigarettes like you will with weed. I don't know if secondhand weed smoking can get you high, but that's something I was always worried about too when that crap would come in my apartment. I always think, am I going to get high off of this as well? Like, am I going to get secondhand high? Which made me mad because I was like, if I do, like, first off, I'm not trying to be high. And second off, it would make me mad, like, if I had my daughter, because I was like, I really don't need her getting high. Luckily, I don't think they ever were over. I mean, they ever did that crap when I had her over, so that was good at least. But that was something I was always worried about. Like, what if? What if they think, oh, today's a good option? You know, and I just... You know, the thing, too, with cigarettes is, and alcohol is, yeah, I mean, if I could, put bans on those as well. Cigarettes obviously aren't healthy. I don't know why anybody even starts smoking in today's world. People are just stupid, I guess. But if I could, yeah, I'd get rid of those and alcohol. But obviously, you kind of can't. Cigarettes are an established thing. I mean, they've been around forever. And alcohol, well, they tried in the 1920s, and look what happened there. So that's kind of a lost cause. But weed doesn't have to be. It's only just starting to get a little more casual. So don't let it get casual. Tighten it up. Keep it in check. Yeah, maybe reduce the punishment. Like, I don't think people should be getting penalty fines because they had weed on them. That's a bit stupid. It's not something as bad as, like, crystal meth or whatever. And when I say penalty, I mean felony. Did I say penalty? I don't know what I meant. Felonies. I don't think you should be getting a felony for weed, but it definitely shouldn't just be casual. Like, oh, how much you got? Oh, okay. Yep, you only have, I don't know what the limit is. What's the limit? Like an ounce or something, or a gram? I don't know. What's bigger? Ounces are bigger. So what is it, like 1 gram or whatever, 10 grams? I don't know, but whatever the limit is, like, it's no big deal. Well, I don't think it should be no big deal. I think there should be something associated with it. Maybe like a hefty enough fine, not like $100, because that's no big deal either. People that want to do this crap are still going to do it. Oh, it's only $100, whatever. Make it like 1,000. You know, no jail time or anything ridiculous like that, but maybe like $1,000. Then at least they'll second think it, and at least it's not so free to just be casually smoked. And then at least there's still a restriction if you call the cops. You know, at least they'll come out and do something. Right now, it's impossible. They don't care. You know, you call the cops, they come out, and they're just like, well, you know, things are kind of laid back, so there's not much I can do. It's like, well, you know, I don't really want to smell this. This is annoying. Like, I'm trying to sleep, and instead I feel like throwing up because these morons downstairs think it's marijuana hour. So that's the 2 other things that I thought of over time. I know I have a lot, not really a lot, but a couple more things, but at least I thought of those, so I can add those to this. So that's good, because I know a lot of my T4Casts, I end up forgetting stuff, and then afterwards I'm like, dang it, and then I'm like, well, what should I do, make a part 2, or edit the description and write all this stuff in, and I don't really want to deal with all that, so good thing I thought of this before I edited this thing, so then I have it all here. Anyways, I think now that is it, and until the next one, I said see ya.